success seem to walk hand in hand. Too often it's considered the measure of the man. My beliefs are consumable, so I guess my check is blank. This I can assure you, and you can take it to the bank. I'd rather have empty pockets and a heart full of love than $1 million and not help anyone. I'd rather be among those I can serve than hear accolades and receive empty words. Well, I try to go above, far beyond. If it's not right, maybe it's wrong. More love and honor than my name in lights. And I don't worry about that. I sleep at night. I'd rather have empty pocket and a heart full of love than $1 million and not help anyone. I'd rather be among those I can serve than hear accolades and receive empty words. Far beyond money and fame, and all that will change. The only thing that will be are the songs and memories. I'd rather have empty pocket and a heart full of love than $1 million and not help anyone. I'd rather be among those I can serve than hear accolades and receive empty words. Money and success seem to walk hand in hand. Too often it's considered the measure of man.
I like that. That's awesome. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today on this snowy and cloudy and cold, very cold. It's only 10 degrees right now. Wednesday. I'm your host, Davey Squires, for the Squires Show. Thank you for listening. You can be listening on blacksquirrelradio.com. Just hit the live button. We're also on the TuneIn app. Just search Black Squirrel Radio. And I just started the Facebook stream here. And I'm here with singer-songwriter Clyde Hensley, who I just played his newest single, Accolades. How you doing? How you doing, Clyde?
I am doing very, very well for as cold as it is out.
It is, yeah, it's ridiculous. Thank you for being here, by the way.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Got a little bit of a walk in.
Yeah, you got your steps in.
Oh yeah,
that was a little bit, cross campus walk there. That's awesome. So, yeah, you singer-songwriter. Where are you from, by the way?
Originally Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Lived there pretty much all my life, and got married, moved to Stowe. Had some ups and downs, kind of re-evacuated to Akron for a little while, but ended up getting my stuff straight and moved to Stowe and got married and pursuing some songwriting and working during the day at a Harley shop. So that's life ain't too bad.
So are you a mechanic over there? Or?
No, I work the parts counter. I've been working with Harleys and doing this since '93.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. You're like the veteran around the store.
I'm the parts dinosaur, yeah.
That's awesome. So tell me about this new, you're recording new stuff, which is great to see. I mean, it's awesome. I love your voice. It's a very folky, kind of a hint of country in there too. But yeah, tell me about this new stuff you're working on.
Well, I'd put out 3 previous albums, and they were all good albums and solid albums, and they were more electric. And years ago, back when I was kind of just breaking into doing something other than heavy metal, so that's long time ago, actually. Back when I had a hair band called Power Drive, and we were playing out a ton. And it just turned into a fiasco and a Spinal Tap type thing.
Did the drummer explode?
No, but he got like his 8th DUI. I bought his Harley.
Oh,
and
wow.
Then it was like from there, it just kind of went sideways. And at that time, a buddy of mine turned me on to Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks. And when I heard that, I was like, wow, this is really from the heart type stuff. And I put out a couple cassettes back when cassettes were cool. And the coffee shop over here used to be called Brady's Cafe. Okay. And I had played there a few times. And then I kind of gave up on playing out and stuff. And then I kind of reemerged into it in 2000, playing with a band called Ripped. But I kind of left the acoustic thing in the back of my mind for a long time. And,
you were mostly electric at that time.
And finally it was like last year I said to myself, I got to get back into a true acoustic singer-songwriter. And I'd always listened to Todd Schneider and like Ray Wiley Hubbard and stuff like that. It's like, man, if somebody can sit up there, entertain, and really grab an audience and hold them and paint a picture with just words and a guitar, man, that's incredible. And I just had to pursue it. Yeah. So my new album is called Words and Highways, and it's a 9-song album. Sony Orchard will be putting it out on the 22nd or 23rd of this month. There is actually a video for Accolades on YouTube right now, and there's also one for a song called Grace Coins. So that's pretty much what I've been up to. And selling Harley parts and oil filters.
Usual business.
Yeah.
So where'd you record this at?
I record this at Area 67 Studio in Cuyahoga Falls. Mike Villegas, wonderful producer, really brought a fresh kind of view to everything. I just wanted to go in and play a guitar and play one vocal track and be done with it. I couldn't really get comfortable doing this and really breathing some life into it. And he kind of gave me room, and he'd throw a little idea here and there, and we kind of spun off what he had to think of, and it just worked out really great. And I brought in a buddy of mine, David Train Koss, to play bass, and a buddy of mine, Dave Hall, came in, played some mandolin on one song, some percussion. And I even got my harmonica out first time in 20-some years.
Wow.
After we cleared all the dust out of the room from first few times I tried to blow it. It sounded good, man. It was cool.
Taking that dust out. Did a lot of dust, did all the dust come out when you first blew into it?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, it was cool.
That's great. That's really cool when producers can give you little tidbits like that. It really, like, I've heard tons of stories from other artists kind of like that, where producers give them something here and there. And it's like really, it's like, people sometimes don't realize that the producer is also usually is a musician too, and they have a lot of, can put a lot of input in on that.
Yeah, sometimes it's that second set of ears that really can take something that's going down a straight path of a dirt road and take it through this beautiful wooded area in the lake, and it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this is it's only been about a year since you've gone back into the singer-songwriter mode, or
I've been writing, but I was using a full band when I recorded the last 3.
Yeah.
So it was. I've always done the singer-songwriter, but not to the extent I'm doing now, where I'm really pursuing it and really I'm on fire about it. So it's like little pieces of paper everywhere with some kind of idea wrote on it. And,
it's like half-finished songs.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
And like my wife will just gather them all up in a pile and lay like a book on top of them, so I know where they're all at. So I ain't running around the whole house yelling at the cats and going, "Where's this?
Where did you take this?" Yeah, I have kind of that problem too, where I start something and don't finish it, and then forget about it, and then after a while, I come back to it.
Yeah, sometimes it's just that breathe time that you need, and then you come back with a whole different perspective, and it's real fresh, and it'll bring a song really to another depth. It's pretty cool.
Well, here's a question. Since you were just in the studio, what are some tips you would give to musicians kind of going into the studio for the first time and kind of recording like that?
First time, don't be anxious, and remember, what you're doing, you can come back and redo in a studio. But always remember to keep it somewhat to a live feel, so it's not that homogenized across the board type thing. You've got to have a little push and pull to things to make them really, really sound live and sincere to me. It's about when you're a singer-songwriter or you're going in and you really have wrote something you feel is worth putting down on a track, you've got to bring some life to it. Otherwise, it's just kind of, it doesn't serve the song. And at the end of the day, for me, it's about serving the song and really making it something a little bit deeper that paints a picture in at least one person's mind. I think I've done my job as a songwriter.
Oh, yeah. You do a really good job at doing just that, painting the picture. And
thank you.
And using, for me personally, like a singer-songwriter, that's kind of like double duty on that. Like, they have to, they have to create the sound first of all, but they also have to songwrite so well that it's more like I don't know. It seems like more work, but it's like
it's a labor of love.
It's a separate art form, really, because I see all these people at open mics and they have amazing songs, and it's like they paint a picture, and that's really what a singer-songwriter, I think, comes down to it.
Yeah, to me, it's like Bob Dylan once said. When he started writing songs, he just threw photographs down on the floor and just started looking at something, pulling from it, and it's like that. Yeah, it's hard to do at first, but as you keep going, it becomes easier. And for anyone who's starting out writing, you're not going to write a hit song right off the cuff. It takes 1,001 songs, and never be afraid to take a part of a song and make a song out of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like reuse what you don't want, don't discard it, but put it in your back pocket. You never know when you'll need it.
Mm-hmm. It's like note you take in class.
Yep. Yeah.
Doing those math problems.
Yep.
So, what are your inspirations for doing this kind of acoustic type setup?
There's so many. I would say I started really listening to Todd Schneider back in like 2003. This hippie guy that worked at the bike shop I worked at the time kept asking me if I'd heard of Todd Schneider. I was like, no. He heard of Black Label, and he's like, yeah. He goes, but this is different. So then he gave me a CD of Todd Schneider, and it was a live one. And the stories in between, kind of the prequel to it all, just kind of threw me off guard, because I was so used to hearing, dude, how you doing? Let's rock. And it was like, this guy's telling this little story, and it's kind of funny, and it's usually pretty jovial. Mm-hmm. And it was like, cool. And it just kind of stuck with me, that whole thing. So Todd Schneider, Ray Wiley Hubbard, I really got into him. Townes Van Zandt, what an amazing character in all. Across the board he was. I've read a few books on him. There's times I really thought I was off the deep end after reading some of that stuff. It's like, wow. But yeah, it's Townes Van Zandt, Todd Schneider, even some country stuff like Waylon Jennings. Well, with a name like Clyde, I gotta have some hillbilly running around there somewhere.
There's some percentage in there.
Yeah, so it was a deal where growing up I'd Twitty and Waylon before he had the long hair and all that. Some Johnny Cash, of course. And like I said, a lot of that played into what I do now. Some newer songwriters I really like that play out quite a bit. Outlaw country guy named Dallas Moore. I saw him in '93. He opened up in Edinburgh for David Allan Coe. There was like 5 of us rode down our bikes, and it was nothing but a sea of bikes, and it was like, I'm feeling pretty good about this. So we go in, and this long-haired kid comes out with a beat-up Martin and just rocked it. And I was like, wow. And that stuck with me.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and Coe came out with a band, and he had a hard time keeping up with Dallas Moore. I will say that. So I give Dallas a plug. He's awesome. Yeah, all those kind of writers. Some of the newer outlaw country are more Americana folk with an edge to it. It's completely different than the older style stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I'm excited to hear some of the stuff. And I'm trying to write a little bit about that, but if it's not truly in my heart, I can't.
Yeah,
do it,
it's you gotta have something behind it.
Yeah.
To write the song.
Yep.
Basically, I got a comment saying you gotta listen to the hippie guys. Always gotta listen to hippie guys.
Cool. I appreciate that.
So I'm sorry if I misheard earlier. What made you go from this hair band to doing acoustic stuff?
It was a deal where the band was just in turmoil. We were driving around in a 1973 Cadillac hearse full of empty Busch bottles, from gig to gig, and everybody was starting to get consequences for living the Spinal Tap life. And about that time, my drummer had got his 8th DUI, and I picked up a Harley, and that's when the bike thing really got into me a little bit. And I was listening to Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks. And it was Simple Twist of Fate was the song. I remember it pretty well. So I remember I played that cassette so much it broke, so I took it to my uncle who owned a TV repair shop to splice it back together. But it was like to hear something like that, and Dylan used some other instruments on that album, but primarily it was a voice and a guitar. And it was like, wow, man, this guy's doing this really cool stuff where he's telling a story.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful, and it's so clean, and there wasn't yelling or screaming or blaring guitar, which I still play Maggot Brain at my shows. I break out the ES 175 and do it. But it was truly like it had a certain form to it that really attracted me. And it was within probably 3 weeks from there, I went out and, as fate would have it, I found a J45 at Lentine's Music that was traded in literally within 2 hours of the time I walked in.
It was fate.
It had to be. It had to be something good, because I kept that guitar for a long time. And then when my son was born, I put my guitars away. I sold all my equipment in '93. And I didn't
That's around the time you started working.
Yeah, in a Harley. Yeah. And then from there, 2000 came, and I got in the band Ripped, and it was kind of like all over the board. We had a keyboard player she was in a Vegas show type thing, but she could play and sing. And the bass player was a guitar player that just wanted to play. The drummer had played with Savoy Brown, and it was pretty cool.
Wow.
And the guy who got us together was played harmonica and played congos and sang a little. And then the other gentleman who played guitar is a songwriter too, and I occasionally talk to him still. So we were kind of all over the place, and there's a lot of partying involved. And I think I was probably the only one. When we opened up for Molly Hatchet at the Outpost, and a gentleman from Molly Hatchet, one of the bass players that had played with him, remembered me. He goes, "Dude, I remember you. You fell out flat right after you opened up for us. You were so drunk." I'm like, "That's me." Yeah. So
that was in the band prior?
That was in Ripped.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in Ripped, and I had met him again in 2014 when I was doing another album.
Huh.
We would cross paths in a studio I was in.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are the odds? It's crazy.
I've had an odd life. I have been everything from on top of the world to literally being homeless at one time. So I'm pretty grateful for all I got.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
cool
talk about extremes, man.
Yeah, my life has been extreme, but it's all good.
That's awesome.
It's all good.
This has nothing to do, to do with this interview at all. But Tim was asking in the comments here, why am I selling my drums on Facebook? And the answer to that is I want to buy more drums. So.
That's why I sell my guitars on there.
Everybody was asking me, and I forgot to answer it last week. And Tim just asked to buy more drums.
Yeah, same thing I do with my guitars. I think I got like 6 guitars on there right now, and it's like, why are you selling them all? Because there's got to be something else out there I want, you know?
Oh, yeah, and I need an upgrade, which, I mean, you can relate. Yeah. There's always going to be an upgrade from something else.
Oh, yes.
There's always going to be a different one involved.
Yeah.
So that's why, Tim, that's why. Yeah, he said perfect. He got his answer. That's funny. Cool. So, we talked about extremes. You go from this hair band all to now. It's just like it's two crazy different things.
Yeah.
So you want to go ahead and play a song?
Sure.
Before we start here, if you have any questions for Clyde here, just ask them in the comments, and we'll get to them.
Cool. This is something off my new album, off Words and Highways. I am very fortunate. Gentleman playing on this album, actually, the gentleman who sold me this guitar, his name's Mark Lee Shannon. He plays with Michael Stanley. Amazing songwriter, too. He actually came in and put some electric guitar down on this song. This song's called Sleeping Dogs Lie. It was one of the ones that's set in a folder for a decade, and I pulled it out, and I'm like, there's something here to work with. So
finally got to it.
Yeah. So it's kind of bluesy, and it goes like this. Lost it all and moved along, bad attitude and one more song. Can't worry about it or where it went. Forget about that and the time spent. And I'm numb to the pain. Nothing left inside. Don't yank my chain. Let sleeping dogs lie. Let sleeping dogs lie. Don't waste my time. Get out of my way. Or pass me by. Let them sleeping dogs lie. Hear how I done you wrong. Stuck around too damn long. Made mistake believing your words. Them actions cut like swords. And I'm numb to the pain. Nothing left inside. Don't yank my chain. Let them sleeping dogs lie. Let sleeping dogs lie. Don't wait luck, I broke free, past all the calamity, and now I'm sitting on this porch, and I can't answer anything more. Let sleeping dogs lie. Don't waste my time. Get out of my way. Or step aside. Let the sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah. Oh, I got it. There we go. Yeah, that sounds awesome. What is that one about?
That was actually about, of course, a relationship where just it came time to kind of cut it and move along, and I kind of waited way over time on that one, and all the time my friends, I started losing my dear friends, and you know,
I know a friend like that actually. That happened when I was in high school with him, and yeah, he got with this girl, and I'm not going to mention any names, but
yeah.
It happened.
Yeah. You know, it's easy to do, and then you look back, and sometimes, you know, like you or I, we can say, "Oh man, well, make a good song," you know, and that's what it's about.
Oh yeah, it's very very good inspiration.
Yeah,
because it's like anybody can relate, and it's all good. Yeah, that brings me to my next question here. What's your favorite thing to write about? What would you say?
Wow.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, you hit me good with that one, man. You know, as I said, I've been through a lot. I was literally homeless, living. I got kicked out of the Haven at Rest. I was a bad drunk. I was in 2005. I was told I'd never be able to sing again. I had some esophagus issues from drinking, throwing up blood. They were worried about my esophagus, and I told them, I fooled them, because I couldn't sing to begin with. So, but
joke's on them.
Yeah, joke's on them. Actually, there's so many different pages and chapters in my life. I can't say there's one certain thing I like to write about. I like to write about memories, both happy and sad. I like to write about the underdog winning, by all means, because I'm always the guy that'll root for the underdog, because my whole life I had a speech impediment growing up. I was a heavy kid in school. Nobody wanted to hang with me, so I grabbed a guitar and made do with what I had.
Yeah.
And you know, and there's so many different things. I'd say gratitude. I'd say gratitude and positivity are the two things that always boils down to. It's the simple things, because I see, and I've been at a point where I've had some really great stuff. I've got so caught up in what I haven't than what I have, and once you start losing the things you have for whatever reason it may be, you find a new way of looking at gratitude.
Yeah, it's very. Whenever I'm listening to your music, it's like I feel a very humbled sound. It's kind of like a learning process kind of thing. Like, but it's like a humbled kind of sound.
Yeah, I try to, when I write, I try not to boost anything up and extravagant and make it something it's not, you know, because the world needs black and white as much as that gray line. But at the same time, there's always room for me. Every day I get up, and you know, I'm thankful to be awake, up and moving on both legs. You know, running water, food, 5 crazy cats, a great wife that puts up with me buying too many guitars on eBay. Buying it, you know, riding my bike, disappearing for a few hours, you know, I can't handle it. I jump on my Dyna and I take off and go down through Deerfield, you know, ride around down Deerfield around.
It's your reflection zone.
Yeah, you know. But usually it ends up being what I end up leaning towards writing about's gratitude, and haven't got to that point where I write much about forgiveness. I'm at that point where when it comes to like relationships, I'm still at that point where I'm at the I'll show you type writing, you know, the revenge through the music. And
I feel like that's the step before forgiveness, though. So you're gonna get there soon.
Yeah. It might take a lot of pieces of paper laying under a coffee cup, but it'll be all right.
5 cats and a wife. I'm impressed.
A beautiful wife at that. So it's life's good, man. Life's good. Can't complain. I could, but who'd listen? So I'd just write in a song.
You're on the radio now, so hey, if there's any time to do it, now's the time to do it.
I'll just write in a song and come back and sing it.
That's funny.
Cool.
So you were mentioning stumbling upon unfinished songs or songs you haven't quite got chords to or whatever, like that, you know, last one that you just did. So what's your creative process when you're just starting a song?
Usually, and I'm notorious for this, I write lyrics before I'll write chords. Now I'm trying to move forward with this, and I'll take my phone and record some chord progressions, come back, and I'll just hum to them and try to get some kind of melody to them. Yeah. And then somehow a lyric will pop into my head, or I'll pull out something that kind of I feel the lyric will parallel with the kind of chords I'm playing. Then there's that dang bridge you got to throw in there, and it's like,
yeah, it's the wrench.
Oh yeah,
that's the wrench in it.
That's the frustration time.
Oh yeah.
You know? In fact, I've gotten to the point where I won't try to write a bridge until I'm done with work, or I have a good solid amount of time during the day to really focus on the bridge.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I start writing in the morning, and I'll get so frustrated with it that I'll get to work and I'll be thinking about it and trying to figure out where I can take it, and I'm not giving 110 at work, so it's, you know.
Oh yeah, for me personally, it's either the bridge or the second verse that always gets me. Yeah, those are the two things. It's like, how do I continue the idea, and how do I continue the idea and switch up the chords? Mm-hmm. That's really, and it's the second verse is usually easier than the bridge.
Oh yeah,
because it's like you're doing the same chords over it, but
right.
Yeah. So you're trying to get to the point where you're writing the chords first.
Yeah. Yeah, trying to get to the point where I can write the chords or write some riffs and put chords with it and get that whole map together, and then I can go with the melody. And sometimes I'll get the melody down and I'm like, the words come that quick. Other times I'll get all the words down and I'll have too many thes and ands and uhs, and I go through there and
filler words.
Yeah,
those filler words. The ones that you include on the a paper. Mm-hmm. You know,
yeah,
just to fill up time. You know.
Yep.
That's So I usually ask singer-songwriters this because you're usually doing these shows alone, like just solo-wise. So have you ever dealt with performance anxiety at any point?
Oh yeah, I used to deal with it by drinking, but You can't. I had to give that up. I don't have that luxury.
Oh,
I mean, I was literally told at one time, if I kept drinking, I'd die, and the esophagus thing was like the prelude to it. So, but I kept running on that train for a long time.
Yeah.
So, when I get anxiety now, sometimes I'll look around and I'll see there's only 10 people in a venue where there's 40 seats, and I keep thinking, okay, am I really serving the song and doing these people correctly? Am I really serving them to, if I'm worried about who's not here? Yeah. I got to look at who's here and give them every bit of the show. Yeah. And if I get too anxious, I just say a quick little prayer, drink extra Diet Pepsi, burp, and go up there and play.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty simple about it. I try to interact with the audience. I think there's a singer-songwriter has to be, as anyone, the same level as everyone else. Yeah. You know, otherwise your story falls on deaf ears. People will be like, well, what's he saying? They can't connect with you.
Yeah.
Then where's the song going to go?
Mm-hmm.
So that's.
Yeah, hey. Yeah, that's, I just asked because, you know, a lot of people have different answers on how they cope with it. And it's always interesting to see that.
There's been times I've walked into a venue and there'll be like, there's no sound check.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That happens a lot.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, I actually have gotten to the point where I prepare not to have a sound check.
Yeah.
I just go in, I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's rock it out and let me give it 110. Go home tonight, I'll watch Law and Order, and then I'll like micro-philosophize the whole performance after the performance.
Yeah.
You know, like tonight, when I get back in my truck, I'll be like, well, was my timing okay? Okay, well, should I have done this? Should I have done that?
Hey, you're sounding great through the headphones, and
cool. Thank you.
That's all that matters. Speaking of a song, you want to do one more?
Sure. Since we're talking about relationships, this one, we don't have enough time to go into the whole scenario here. But this song isn't on the new album. I'm holding this one for next year's release. Basically, it was a long relationship, and I'll give you the spiel I give on when I play it out, because it's basically the truth. I was out riding with my buddies one night. We're all on our bikes. We're having fun. We're going from certain fancy bars where they have a pole in the middle of the room, two other fancy bars with a pole in the middle of the room.
Yep.
And it got to be about 12:30, and I was like, I'm going home, man. And so I veered off, and I rolled down Broad Street in the Falls there. I stopped at the Circle K, and I went to get some smokes and a lottery ticket. And you hear the door open, you hear that ding.
Yeah.
I smelt perfume. I'm like, darn, I know that perfume. I think I bought that for her on our 3-week anniversary. I spent a lot of money on that. That can't be her. I don't want to look. Then you hear the heels. And all of a sudden, it's like, I know those heels because I skipped a nice lunch one day for extra cash. Buy her those heels so she'd look real good when we went out to see Fox play. And it was like,
well,
as I went, I went to look around, and lo and behold, the memories rushed back. I remember pulling in that fateful night, and my stuff's all in the yard. I'm sitting on the bike going, man, I gotta find a couch tonight.
Yeah.
So it was the longest 7-week long-term relationship I ever had. So
hey, there you go.
It is what it is. But this song's called No Harm, No Foul, and it literally, I went home that night, took a crayon, a piece of toilet paper, wrote the lyrics down. This is how it went. Imagine running into you here tonight. I was just going to life can come to a stop. Just a time out, that's all we got. We knew then what we know now. No harm means no foul. No harm means no foul. It's in the past. Don't waste time to look back. No harm means no foul. Yes, you did alright. Let's part ways. Call it a night. Now is that your husband waiting? Yeah, he knows who I am. Gotta look the other way. That poor dog, he looks so sad. Glad to see you wearing it well. And all the time and no one could tell. You hid the hurt and I drowned the pain. I buried the memories and tried to change. No harm means no foul. It's in the past. Don't waste time to look back. No harm means no foul. Yes, you did alright. Let's part ways. Call it a night. No harm means no foul. It's in the past. Don't waste time to look back. No harm means no foul. Yes, you did alright. Let's part ways. Call it a night. Imagine running into you here tonight. And I was just going to grab me smokes. Yeah, you know I don't look alright. Yeah, you look like you seen a ghost.
Woo! Here we go. That's the best. That is the best idea ever. I love it. I just started using those sound effects like 3 weeks ago, and
That's cool.
I've totally hit it out of the park. So a couple more questions here. I gotta ask, since you're a singer-songwriter, do you go to a good amount of open mics, or?
Not too often, actually. Not too often. I used to go about once a month. I keep telling myself I'm going to get back to going more often. But to be honest, I'm so busy and so immersed in my writing.
Oh, yeah.
I get so come home and I'm so torn into doing that right away. But yeah, that's something I do gotta get back into. I actually have that on my to-do list.
I completely understand, though. It's an extra thing, but I had to ask.
Yeah.
So what are your favorite venues to play at around here locally?
I enjoy them all, man. Let's see. Substation over in Wadsworth. They really dig what I do. Morning Owl Coffee Shop, I play all originals there, so it's kind of cool because the people come in, they'll sit down, they pay attention to you when you play, and are really like into it. Nervous Dog's another one. God, there's so many different ones, but those are three main ones I really dig. Now, when I get in the truck, I'll remember one that I hit it out of the park at, but pretty much, I enjoy playing anywhere I can play. As long as one person enjoys what I'm doing, I think I've served the song. I've done what I should do as a songwriter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You mentioned the Substation. That place is really good. They're always looking for live music, too, but their food is super good.
Yeah.
Their subs and... their drinks too. Their mixed drinks are pretty good too.
Shelley's a great person too. Her husband always has me play Maggot Brain at the end of the night. He digs that. So
that's awesome. You do that acoustically?
No, I break out the ES-170.
That's what you said before. I thought you said you did it acoustically.
Another real cool venue, before I forget, was it's called East End Venue, and they look for live bands. They're doing acoustic night this Sunday the 24th. They're having acoustic night, and then they're having some live bands play on the 23rd. They work with the homeless.
Okay.
So that's kind of dear to my heart. And Jimmy Yu, who runs it, he paid out of pocket for their whole stage, all their lights.
That's awesome.
Incredible. If you look at the videos, that's where I shot my 2 videos, Accolades and Grace Coins at. So you'll see what kind of wild setup they got there. I mean, it's insanely cool. So.
Oh yeah, is that in Akron?
Yeah. 15 Broad Street.
Okay. On the East End, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just spitballing here. Yeah.
Doing well.
That's great, though.
Yeah.
So what shows you guys you have coming up?
This month I'm kind of taking it easy. I'm at the Substation the 15th. Wow, where else am I? The 29th, I'm playing the Beacon Cafe, which is over in Community of Christ. I'm playing there doing some rock and blues and some of my original stuff. That's like 8 to 9:30.
Okay.
I'm at Cave Coffee Bar over in Barberton, April 26th.
They just started having live music again.
Yeah.
They're always looking.
Yeah, they're a good place. April, I think, 19th. I'm trying to think. 18th or 19th, I am at the Morning Owl again. I have a whole new batch of songs I'll be doing there. A whole new set. So that should be interesting. I think I've got 2 or 3 other ones next month that I'm forgetting. So I will be around.
Those are on your Facebook page? Or?
Yeah. I have 3 Facebook pages. I've got
somehow it happened.
Yeah. I have Clyde Allen Hensley, which is my Facebook. Then I have Clyde Allen Hensley Musician, and then I have Clyde Allen Hensley fan page.
Okay.
So
I have I think I have the first one you said tagged in the description of the live stream here. So yeah, if you guys want to check out Clyde, his page, that's your personal Facebook, or is that okay?
Yeah. Friend request me. If you got questions about what I do or anything, message me. I'm not a high-tech redneck. I'm not good with all this live stuff.
High-tech.
Yeah. But,
funny.
I mean, I'd love to see some folks come out, and hopefully if one person enjoyed me playing today, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's real cool.
Yeah, we have a pretty busy stream today, so, yeah. Cool. Good times. Clyde Hensley in the studio today. Thank you so much for coming in and playing a couple songs. And Accolades will be out when?
That will be out the 22nd on Sony Orchard. And I believe the video might be out about a week before that, but it is already on YouTube. And as I said, that was recorded at the East End venue. So if anybody's looking to play at the East End venue, they can get a hold of me. I'll direct them to East End venue, or they can go on Facebook, find it too. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good time. Great setup too.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you. My pleasure, my honor, by all means.